In this video, we'll be talking Assassin's Creed Origins and Witcher 3 and comparing them to determine which game is better. While many other reviewers have played Witcher a few years ago, possibly skewing their perspective, we have played both games back to back, which will hopefully result in the most unbiased comparison available. Keep in mind that everything we say is just our opinion, so without any further ado, let's begin. Assassin's Creed Origins combat is the best the series has ever seen. Previous Assassin's Creed games used the paired animation system where pushing a button auto-aligns a character, an animation plays, and the enemy takes damage. Origins has a hitbox system that allows for more movement, regional damage, like more damage for hitting the head, and hitting multiple enemies. The hitbox system also requires the player to be looking at the enemy or else he will miss. Unlike previous Assassin's Creed games where the only difference between weapons were animations, the new system allows for the use of multiple weapon types with different unique abilities, functions, and characteristics. You would be able to either loot or buy 8 different types of melee weapons, all the way from heavy blades to spears as melee weapons. You can also loot or buy 4 different types of bows, all the way from hunter bows to predator bows. You may also have many shields, though there is only one type of shield. Both ranged and melee weapons have a ton of cool names and rarities, making it all the better. In previous AC games, hitting the counter button over and over would be all you needed to win a fight. Origins opens up new actions to use in combat such as light and heavy hits, shield breaks, shielding, dodging, parrying, and the use of adrenaline for special combos. Those options are open to enemies as well, putting the combat in Origins a level above those before it. Altogether, this makes the combat in Origins require more skill. Origins has a simple but in-depth character tree with sensible upgrade paths that open up brand new abilities. The tree has 3 main branches: Hunter, which includes mainly bow upgrades and power-ups, although it has a few stealth and assassination upgrades. Another branch in the tree is Seer, which covers a lot of deadly darts and chemicals. The final ability branch is the Warrior branch. The branch adds new melee weapons, special abilities, upgrades, and attacks. I wouldn't be able to talk about Assassin's Creed combat without talking about its stealth, which is hands down the best. You begin by scouting out an area with your helpful eagle Senu, marking opponents and such. You would come in crouching, low to the floor, hiding in bushes or behind walls. You would whistle to get someone's attention to assassinate your target, or you can sneak up behind them. Using darts or silent bows are an option if that floats your boat. If you end up getting caught in the act, guards will quickly call for help or light the alarm. If you escape their line of sight by running or climbing away, you'll be anonymous to the now high alert guards. Assassin's Creed has some darn good enemy bases with loot, different types of enemies, bosses, and more. The game also has small naval bases where you can take out large ships carrying cargo. You can also have small ship battles with canoes. You might have to fight off some crocodiles or hippos that are attacking your boat while in shallow waters. But in Origins, Aya sets out in large-scale naval battles, where you have to navigate your boat through warfare and command your crew. You fight with your allies with ramming, bracing, flaming bows, and artillery. Overall, the combat in Assassin's Creed Origins is smooth and functional. The various upgrades logically progress, and they allow Origins to provide a functional and fun combat experience. The combat in Witcher 3 is similar to Assassin's Creed Origins. Witcher 3 also has a hitbox system that allows for all the same benefits mentioned previously. Along with the typical skill grid, Witcher also adds oils, potions, decoctions, and signs to combat. Oils are applied to blades to increase their effectiveness, and when used with potions, which vary in effect from increasing damage to night vision, can make a big difference in battle. Signs may need a bit of clarification. Signs are spells that can be cast in combat that add huge layers of diversity to ways encounters can go. Most enemies are weak to specific signs, and knowing which sign can drastically change the way the battle is going. The sign and oil system encourages players to learn all they can about their enemies and rewards players who go the extra mile. The character customization allows for specialization into specific areas of combat. Someone who wants to be a spellcaster can use points to buy sign-related abilities and use blue mutagens to increase their sign intensity, while someone who wants to use lots of potions can spend points on different abilities tailored to his specific playstyle. The armor also has a large degree of customization, from light and nimble gear to heavy and more protective. Like I mentioned earlier, The Witcher 3 has a large variety of enemies that each feel distinct from one another. While fighting humans, you usually parry or counterattack. When fighting beasts or monsters, you find yourself dodging more often to their wide and deadly attacks and waiting for the right moment to strike. test the combat system, we asked our little cousin, who has only ever played phone games, to give both games a try. The games were both on the second highest difficulty with level scaling on.
Witchers, because you could do different spells. That it's easy to dodge, and it's easy to do the bow and arrow. Like nothing.
As you can see / hear, at first glance, The Witcher 3's combat system is better. The animation is smooth, and the use of signs is surprisingly intuitive. With that said, she did not have to deal with oils, potions, armor, or ability point loadouts. Having played the game for 75 plus hours, I can say that it can feel overwhelming sometimes. While Assassin's Creed has simpler combat, which is nice, it is missing the major problems, like Geralt not being able to jump in combat, but the combat can be more difficult without all those buffs and advantages Witcher gives you. The AI is better in AC than in Witcher. In Origins, characters aren't so weird. They can hear noise or get snuck up on, they can get knocked over and angered. I just personally think that Origins battles feel more alive. In Witcher 3, enemies follow a very predictable pattern exactly. AC has enemies that are always adapting, always using different moves depending on the situation. Witcher's swordplay and animations are much nicer, and the dodges are much more amazing to look at. The use of signs is nice, but his horse combat is pretty bad. AC also includes a stealth system that adds another way to deal with enemies. While The Witcher's close combat is good, the archery is abysmal. Witcher has you press the scroll wheel button to shoot a bolt, which is next to no damage, while AC has you right click to aim the bow and left click to fire. Along with the bow's reasonable damage and superior controls, using the bow in AC is fun and viable, unlike Witcher where the crossbow is boring and useless. Overall, although The Witcher's combat is nicer in many ways, though it is missing many of the key components that Assassin's Creed Origins has, the smooth spells and dodging in Witcher make me see how someone would prefer the combat more. While both games have excellent combat, I'd have to say that I prefer the combat in Assassin's Creed. The Witcher 3's map consists of 4 main regions with ruins, caves, towns, and cities to explore around every corner. White Orchard is the starting area, Velen is swampy and full of marshes, Novigrad is a large city, and Skellige is snowy and mountainous. Each of these areas feel different from each other, boasting unique flora and mobs. Between the bustling city of Novigrad and the frigid waters of Skellige, there is always something to be found. Since each area is unique, if you were to get bored of one area, you can move on to another for a different experience. The landscape is believable. Looking around Novigrad during the day makes it seem all business, but at night, there seems to be a party vibe at the lower levels, similar to a real city. The people in Skellige look different and act different than those in Novigrad, only adding to the immersion. Witcher 3's map is large, content-filled, realistic, and beautiful. There is a catch. Traveling around the world can be annoying. Your horse spawns far behind you and takes its time to walk to you, if it walks to you at all. While running, the horse constantly stops on small obstacles and finds ways to get caught on things. The horse's stamina can be a pest when running out, and the jumping mechanic is subpar. When traveling to quest objectives, there is an arrow pointing to your destination as well as dots on your minimap. But actually getting to your destination means staring at your minimap and following dots, which seem to glitch out fairly often. Fast travel is not so convenient, forcing you to walk to signs to fast travel and only allowing you to move to other signs. Finally, boat travel is also disappointing. When in a boat, large, opaque water droplets cover the screen at all times, and the turning mechanics seem unrealistic. AC also has these water drops, but they're mostly clear and only appear if the camera is low to the ground. In Witcher, each way to travel is more annoying than the last. Origins has you explore the real-world map of ancient Egypt. It has been condensed, but it's nice to know that almost everything you are seeing has a real-world equivalent. It may sound like you're just exploring a desert, but the Nile River and Mediterranean Sea allow the north and east to be extremely fertile and green. Like in The Witcher, the cities also feel different. Cities such as Siwa and Memphis are predominantly occupied by Egyptians, while Crete is occupied by Greeks. They dress differently and even speak different languages. Alexandria stands as a marvel of engineering, while Crocodilopolis is a city made to worship crocodiles. Each location is unique and realistic. Most sections of the map contain unique flora and fauna, pyramids can be explored, mountains scaled, and mysteries uncovered through the vast open world. Origins uses viewpoints as their fast travel system. They are tall buildings or structures that, when climbed, show a good view of the surrounding area, revealing more of the map and allowing you to fast travel to the viewpoint from anywhere. Unlike Witcher's terrible map guide, Origin has a nice follow road / go to objective system. You can travel by free run, horse, boat, or fast travel. While The Witcher's map is big, believable, and sometimes nicer to look at, nothing beats exploring the real world and knowing that what you see is actually there at some point. Who among us wouldn't want to know what the world was like before our time? Origins gives us the most accurate and entertaining glimpse into that world yet. Easily and conveniently exploring Origins' larger map is more fulfilling and fun than trying to do the same in Witcher, giving AC the win in the world category. The Witcher has you follow the events of Geralt as he searches for Yennefer and later Ciri, his surrogate daughter. Geralt is a Witcher, someone who has undergone extensive training for the purpose of slaying monsters. Ciri's lineage gives her special powers that the Wild Hunt, an evil army, plan to use. Geralt and Yennefer must get to her before they do. For 2/3 of the game, the story involves doing tasks for strangers so that you can get more information about where Ciri is. This can sometimes be frustrating or even tedious, but some of those quests in the first half can be entertaining. The game really starts to pick up after you make your way to Skellige and meet Yennefer again. Together, you and her figure out where Ciri had been hiding and plan to take her to Kaer Morhen, the castle where Geralt trained, to fight the Wild Hunt. The Battle of Kaer Morhen is hands down one of the best quests that I have ever played. After the failure there, Geralt and company plan to use Ciri as bait to ambush the Wild Hunt, which ends with the defeat of their king and Ciri's apparent sacrifice to stop the White Frost from destroying the world. Depending on your actions during the game, Ciri either becomes a Witcher, an Emperor, or dies. Assassin's Creed Origins has you follow the events of Bayek, a Medjay. A Medjay is similar to an Egyptian police force. Bayek's son Kemud was killed by a shadowy organization known as the Order, and Bayek is out for blood. Most of the main quests involve going to regions that are troubled by members of the Order, figuring out who the person actually is, and killing the person. There is also a B plot about overthrowing Ptolemy, Egypt's pharaoh, and replacing him with Cleopatra. These missions are often done with or even as Aya, Bayek's wife. Playing as Aya can be annoying, as she's much weaker than Bayek during my playthrough. But on quests where it didn't matter, like the boat one, I was glad to take command of someone new. There is also an extremely boring C plot involving the present day. I had no investment in those characters and felt like the only reason the present day stuff was in there was to please those who would be angry if the Animus didn't show up in the game. But it only takes like 10 minutes for you to get through all of it. Similar to The Witcher, the final part of the game is the best. Bayek finds the exact person who killed his son and Cleopatra takes her place on the throne. Once she's the pharaoh, Cleopatra casts Aya and Bayek out of her inner circle, prompting them to form the Hidden Ones, or as they would later be known, the Assassins. It is cool to see the Assassins come together and see what they stand for. Overall, The Witcher 3 and Assassin's Creed Origins have opposite problems. Witcher often spends far too long on dialogue and trying to stretch out time until you find Ciri, while Origins spends too little time on their characters, making them seem somewhat one-dimensional at times. Luckily, Witcher 3 fixes their issues during the third act, and rather than continue to pad their runtime, they get straight to business. Overall, I can't really say whose story is better. If The Witcher's story started 10 hours in from when it does, there would be no question. But I could see the beginning of Witcher 3's story keeping people from getting to the end. Origins, on the other hand, has more of a generic but consistent story. If you get past the first few hours of Witcher, then that story is better, but I can't say that most gamers would want to sit through it, so I have to give a tie in the main story category. AC Origins side quests are okay. Don't get me wrong, there are still some great ones, but most of the ones I did went something like this. Go to a base, kill a specific person, or rescue a specific person, go back to the quest giver. An area where Origins does really well is the side content. There are pyramids and tombs to explore, gladiators to fight, chariot races to participate in, and unique and powerful enemies known as Phalakis that are hunting you down. The side content in Witcher is second to none. There are side quests that branch off from the main quest, meaning that stories are related to the main quest and feature main characters. These side quests are a great way to build up characters, and I wish that Origins did something similar. The regular side quests are good too, each with their own unique story that doesn't involve fetch quests. There are also Witcher contracts where someone hires you to take care of a monster. They all begin with an investigation, but they are leaps and bounds better than the investigations in AC. The clues are logical, and I found myself figuring out what the monster is before the game tells me. Overall, the side quests in Origins are okay, if not repetitive at times. What AC does well is their extracurriculars, such as the Gladiator Arena. Witcher side quests are much better than those in Origins, and their Witcher contracts rival the quality of Origins' other extra content. With that said, I have to say that The Witcher 3 has better side quests and side content. Overall, the quality of the main quests for the two games are comparable, but the side quests in Witcher 3 is much better than what Assassin's Creed has to offer, meaning that Witcher 3 gets the quest point. Assassin's Creed Origins and The Witcher 3 The Wild Hunt are both excellent and well-made open-world RPGs. Overall, the combat in open world is better in Assassin's Creed than in Witcher, but the quests are better in Witcher. Depending on what aspects of a game you prioritize, either The Witcher 3 or Assassin's Creed might be better. In my opinion, if someone only had enough money to buy one of the games, I would recommend that they buy AC Origins over The Witcher 3.